Okay, we're going to start. Again, thank you for coming out to the 51st State event in support of the Second Amendment. As you know, there's a lot of contentious legislative bills out there, especially with the initiative of 1639 passing, which is affecting a lot of Washington State residents, especially in our rural community, which is part of our culture, our rural culture. So today we are going to have Carrie Sloan from We the Females. She is part of the group that is a lot of domestic violence survivors that are pro-2A. We will be having Steve McLaughlin talking about some issues with the current legislation and how it affects our rural communities. Our main speakers are going to be Representative Matt Kay and Representative Young. We also have Scott Rombeck, retired officer as well. We'll be talking about his current project that's going on, especially with the AD's office. Myself, and then we have a couple of Eastern Washington updates from a lot of the Second Amendment movement from the east side of the state. And then we'll get started. So I'd like to have Carrie Sloan from We the Females. Thank you.
Approximately 4 months ago, my entire life was forever changed. I woke up on November 7th in what I like to call a post-midterm election hangover with incredible disappointment and concern regarding the passage of I-1639. Like many individuals, I took to social media to share my concerns with friends and followers. Never could I have imagined the impact my words would have. My story went viral. I had a flood of emails, text messages, and social media direct messages from domestic violence survivors and rape victims wanting to share their stories and express their gratitude for bringing a voice to a very serious issue that has long been and continues to be pushed to the recesses of the gun control debate. Domestic violence victims are so often used as pawns in the political chess match in the Second Amendment argument. Advocates of gun control laws ensured that victims' voices are virtually silenced or ignored if they make an attempt to speak out in support of their constitutionally given rights to defend themselves with a firearm. I know this firsthand as I am a domestic violence victim. Washington State's broken legal system failed me. It is this very legal system that was supposed to prosecute my abuser, and they dropped his felony assault charge to a misdemeanor, allowing him to negotiate an aversion agreement that he took advantage of. He took a job delivering pizzas so that he could be mobile and continue to stalk. As I began to talk to more and more victims, not only of domestic violence, but of sexual assault as well, I began to notice a pattern. Laws consistently put in place in an effort to protect the victims are failing miserably. There's Alice. While she was trying to get away from her abuser, he would call 911 and tell the police that she was suicidal, when in fact she wasn't, because he knew she was armed. Red flag laws. There's Savannah, a rape survivor. Y'all might have just recently seen her testifying in Congress last week. She had training in firearm responsibility and safety from the time she was 10 years old. But she chose to obey the gun-free zone law on her college campus when she was raped. Had she been able to carry her firearm, she would have been able to prevent her assault. Far from last, Carol. This is Carol Brown from New Jersey. In 2017, Carol was stabbed to death by her ex-boyfriend, for whom she had already obtained a restraining order against. She lost her life in a background check waiting period to purchase a firearm to protect herself. Gun control advocates and legislators gun control laws present a much more problematic situation, in that not only do they take away our right given to us under the Constitution, it takes away our ability to defend ourselves. And while I know that the argument is consistently offered that common sense gun laws are not taking away someone's guns, with each additional law that is put in place, it continues to limit or completely remove an individual's ability to obtain the tool needed to protect themselves. And that is something that is consistently never addressed. Common sense gun laws are and have been in place for decades. Continuing to add more gun control legislation, such as HB 1509 and HJM 4003, on top of mounds of previously failed laws, only continue to hurt those that are responsible, law-abiding citizens and inhibits their ability to protect themselves and their families. Arbitrarily redefining the definition of a firearm due to ignorance of what they actually are begs us to ask the question, what will they choose next in their so-called efforts of public safety? It is my hope that advocates for gun control are willing to not only listen to my words here today, but that they will be willing to set aside their no-compromise paradigm and take a moment to realize that while the Second Amendment advocates are adamant about protecting their rights given to them under the Constitution, at the end of the day, we only truly want what everyone else wants to keep, and that is to keep our families and our children safe. Gun control laws are simply not effective, because if they were, I would not be standing here today urging you to stop piling more poorly written laws on top of poorly written existing laws. Gun control laws not only inhibit the ability for one to defend themselves, they have a much greater impact on women specifically. Continuing to create laws restricting their ability to allow women to choose how they defend themselves certainly reflects on the agenda of those who support gun control legislation. It really isn't about safety. This is completely about control. It is up to all of us here today to put forth the effort to reach out to our communities and to work to educate our friends and neighbors regarding the truth surrounding these laws and how misleading they are. Gun control legislation doesn't begin with politicians. It begins in our communities and our homes when we make the decision to vote for individuals who create laws that take away our ability to protect ourselves and our families. To the legislators that are here today, take note. Assault victims are no longer hiding and allowing you to use them as pawns for your gun control agenda. We will be fighting for the right to defend ourselves. We will no longer be victims of your oppressive legislation or our abusers. We are here today to be the change so desperately needed that our daughters, nieces, and granddaughters will never have to be victims themselves. It is up to you, everyone in this room, in addition to the legislators, to help make this reality. And I ask you all now, are you with us? Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Next, we're going to have Steve McLaughlin. He ran as a candidate for the Commissioner of Public Lands. He's also a retired military officer in the Navy. And I'd like to thank him for coming out and saying a few words.
Okay, let's see if we have this mic working. We may have to lean over a little bit. I grew up in rural America. I worked summers on a family ranch that was 26 miles from the nearest town and 13 miles from the nearest neighbor. I didn't have the ability, because we didn't have a phone, to dial 911. I didn't have the ability to get a police officer or a sheriff's deputy out to our ranch in any matter that's even close to timely. I still live in rural America, and what I see is right now, if I needed help, it would be at least 20 minutes before a sheriff's deputy could get to my house. Okay? 1639 was drafted to try to keep people safe. Well, living in rural America, there is no way that I can stay safe without the ability to have a firearm to defend myself, whether it be against somebody coming up to my house in the middle of the night trying to do harm to my family and myself, which I don't worry about too much, or predators such as the wolf or another, apex carnivore coming into my house, which has happened, to defend ourselves against those. Gun control laws in rural America simply don't work. We want them, we want our firearms to protect ourselves and our families. It's part of our culture in rural America to have a firearm for hunting, for protection, and it's part of our culture in the United States to defend ourselves against tyranny and against other problems that may creep up. The misbegotten notion that gun control laws will keep us safer is nothing more than a fairy tale.
Yeah.
I spent 25 years serving in the United States Navy, serving our country. I took oaths and I administered oaths hundreds of times to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I have traveled and have been in dozens, and I'm thinking 80 to 90 countries, although I don't remember offhand, including communist states, including socialist states, including states with oligarchies, and including states with despots as leaders. I have seen the effects of what gun control has done to the people in those countries. And I can assure you that I don't like that very much, and you wouldn't either. All one has to do is look at what is going on in Venezuela today to see the impact. Take a look at what happened in 1930s Germany when the Nazi Party took away the right to keep and bear arms from the German population. Look at what happened in the Soviet Union in the 1920s and 1930s. Look at what is happening in America today in the same notion. Over 170 million people in the world have been killed by governments who have taken firearms away from them. We want that here?
No.
The second piece I want to just talk about on this is I want to make a prediction. And I predict that if these gun laws that the House and Senate are going to be voting on soon, and if 1639 goes through, and we actually have gun control in this state, my prediction is violent crime and property crimes will increase drastically. So probably whatever they are today, they will double, if not triple, within a year. We're seeing in Portland a dramatic increase in crime in the city of Portland, just down in Oregon, because police officers are being disarmed in the downtown areas. Crime is going up out of control. Concealed carry owners' crime rate is half, more than half, of that of the general population. 128 crimes committed by concealed carry personnel per 100,000 people versus 710 crimes committed by just the general population per 100,000. So people that carry guns are far more apt to obey and support the law than those who are not. I want to leave you with one final comment. I don't want to be a criminal. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I have always been a law-abiding citizen. I have defended this nation for the better part of my life. And I don't want to be, because of a vote and mob diplomacy, or what we call people in this building are attempting to do so. And the people in the urban areas of this state are attempting to do so. Let's make it so none of us are made criminals overnight.
Woo! Yeah. Woo!
Thank you, sir. Okay, next we are going to have Mr. Scott Brownback.
Scott, come on, Scott.
I'll try to speak up so everybody can hear me. Thank you for coming. My name is Scott Brownback. I'm an attorney in Yakima, Washington, former prosecutor, former JAG officer, 20 years. I used to prosecute crimes. Right? A lot of you who have been on social media, you see people complaining about the problem. 1639 is terrible, right? Everybody's got a complaint, right? What do you do about it? What do you do about it as a citizen? Well, we're in a building where everybody who's in office took an oath. They took an oath to the Constitution of the United States and an oath to the Washington Constitution and to the laws. Every one of them. When 1639 was passed, it became statutory law, most of which will come into effect in July 2019. When that law was passed, it became statutory law. So I got a question for all of you folks out there. Is statutory law equivalent or superior to the Constitution?
No.
Of course not. If you're in third grade, you should know the answer to that question. All right? The Constitution is supreme. Now, sometimes the state Constitution is supreme, and sometimes the U.S. Constitution is supreme. It depends on what area of our government life we're talking about. But 1639 created statutory law that is inferior to the Constitution of the United States and the Washington State Constitution. No doubt about it. Anybody who knows anything about the law knows that. So in the state of Washington, we see that 20 sheriffs in the state of Washington have said that they're not going to enforce 1639. And some people have complained, they say, how can a sheriff do that? His job is to enforce the law. Well, I tell you what, 1639 put sheriffs in quite a quandary. Because you had 1639 create statutory law that it was in direct conflict with the Washington and United States Constitutions. So they have a choice. Do I follow 1639, the statutory law, or do I follow the Constitution? Because I tell you one thing, when 1639 was passed and came into law, it did not eradicate the Constitution of the United States or of the state of Washington. Yep. They both existed. The duty that each sheriff has to each of those constitutions remained in effect. And so they had a choice. They were put in an awful position by this terrible law that even a third grader would know violates the Washington and United States Constitutions. Interestingly enough, who was the author, the drafter, and the sponsor of 1639?
Bobby.
Bob Ferguson, the Attorney General of the state of Washington. Bob Ferguson calls himself the top law enforcement officer in the state of Washington. He's charged with the duty of knowing what the Washington Constitution and the U.S. Constitution say. It is not his job to go out and draft legislation that is in conflict with the U.S. and Washington Constitutions.
Yeah.
So, what happened to Bob Ferguson's oath? It was violated the moment that he drafted, supported, endorsed, and campaigned for 1639. And I have the proof. If you go to April 23rd, 2018, he was endorsed, or interviewed by National Public Radio about 1639. And they say that Bob Ferguson broke with tradition 1639? Well, he was endorsing his own legislation. And Bob Ferguson admitted that he had a conflict of interest, and he said, I will wall myself off from my duties. Well, what does that mean? Did you know, citizens, that when there is an initiative that passes muster and it goes on the ballot, that the Attorney General has specific statutory duties as Attorney General to review the ballot, to formulate the ballot title, and to formulate the summary language that goes on the ballot for each citizen to review before they vote. Did you know that? So here we have a scenario where the Attorney General of the state of Washington creates legislation, okay? And then he turns around and has statutory duties to review his own legislation as it comes to his office as Attorney General. That is a conflict of interest. He admitted to it. He said, I walled myself off from it. And he let his staff, who had been working on 1639, using letterhead, the Attorney General's letterhead, his staff, emails, etc. Well, guess what? That violates another statute. All right? There are campaign laws that says that a state officer may not endorse a ballot proposition. That is a specific statutory duty that the Attorney General must obey, in addition to his duties as outlined by the RCW. If you look at the duties of Attorney General, nowhere does it say that he may initiate legislation in the form of a citizen's initiative. He does not have that authority. He has exceeded the bounds of his statutory duties. He has used the office of Attorney General for his own personal campaign. To draft legislation, put it before the people, call it an assault weapon, call it this or that, appeal to the emotions of the people to get them to pass law that is unconstitutional. You know what? There are separations of powers. Our founders separated government so that there wouldn't be power consolidated into the hands of a few. Bob Ferguson has forgotten that. He has violated his duties. And guess what? This is what the citizen can do about it. Let me tell you right now, as a former prosecutor, every element of the crime I'm going to describe to you has been satisfied. If you look at RCW 9A.80.010, all right, that's called official misconduct. It is under the chapter known as abuse of office. And that says that if any public servant intends to deprive another person of a right or privilege, well, a right, do we have a right to bear arms in this state?
Yes.
In fact, we have the best constitutional language to protect the citizen. Article 1, Section 24 says the right of the individual citizen to bear arms in defense of himself or the state shall not be impaired. Shall not. You cannot get stronger language in the law than shall not. Impair means to reduce by any appreciable degree. Right? Do you think 1639 impaired the right of citizens to bear arms in defense of themselves?
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you're 18 to 20 years old, you cannot buy what's now called a semi-automatic assault rifle, which includes the Ruger 1022, a youth rifle. Did Bob Ferguson know when he was drafting that legislation that it would impair the right of citizens to bear arms? No, right, he did. He violated the Constitution knowingly. So I just described to you the first element of that crime, 9A.80.010. Public servant, which he is, intends to deprive a citizen of his right or privilege while either acting under the color of law or by refraining to perform a duty is guilty of a gross misdemeanor. It is a criminal action. It is a statute that is drafted specifically to hold people in office accountable when they step over tell you what, every single one of you need to review your oath and then look at what Bob Ferguson did and hold him accountable, because if he is convicted, and he should be convicted, he should be impeached and removed from office.
Yeah.
Now, citizens may ask, what can I do? Like I said, everybody gets on Facebook and they complain. You're powerless, you're defeated, you're hit year after year after year with this legislation that takes away and chips away and impairs your constitutional rights. What can I do? Well, you can appeal to your prosecutors and your sheriffs and say, enforce the law. The facts, the law, is probable cause, charge Bob Ferguson with a crime.
Yep.
But you know what that takes? It takes courage. Because I guarantee you, if it was a guy down at the gas station or in the pizza parlor or worked somewhere, just a regular Joe, and he committed a gross misdemeanor, those people wouldn't think twice about it. But because it's the Attorney General of the state of Washington, we gotta worry about this. Wrong answer! Let me read you something. Sorry if I'm talking loud, but I'm a former NCO, even though I became an officer. And an NCO is what I am to the core. Those who have served know that NCOs are the backbone, especially in the Army. This is what Bob Ferguson said. His own words, and I agree with him here. A law is a powerful thing, Ferguson said. It has the ability to hold everybody accountable to it. And that includes the President of the United States. Well, I tell you that the law is a powerful thing, and it can even hold the Attorney General of the state of Washington accountable. And that's what we citizens need to do. So you say, well, you haven't told me what I can do as a citizen. Well, I'm going to tell you right now what you can do. I'm a lawyer, like I said, happy to be, proud to be a lawyer. I abide my oath. The problem is not being a lawyer, it's being a lawyer who sticks with the Constitution rather than public opinion. The local rules of district court, courts of limited jurisdiction where all misdemeanors are tried, has a rule, 2.1c. And that has a citizen complaint process. Each of you as citizens can file out an affidavit of complaining witness. You can go into your courthouses in each county in this state and fill out that affidavit and explain to the court how Bob Ferguson violated the law, if that's your opinion. I'm not going to tell you to do that, but if you believe he did, and you can go to a judge and say, Judge, here's probable cause. This guy, the Attorney General, the one that's charged with knowing the Constitution, defending the Constitution, if it's push comes to shove between a statute and the Constitution, he has a duty to defend the Constitution, not a statute. And he has abused his office, filed charges. That is how you, the citizen, have power. And you can do it. Okay? That's how you do it. I've given it to you. I'm not going to do it for you. If you want to do it, get up, do it. Okay? Thank you. Sorry. You have a question?
Yes, 98 what did you say he violated?
9A, so it's title 9A, chapter 80, section 010.
Thank you, Scott. Next, we have Representative Young from Legislative District 26.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor to be here with you today and take some time out and give you some perspectives from the legislature. Let's just review and baseline our common facts. Article 1, Section 1 of our state constitution says that all political power is inherent in the people, not the Attorney General. And governments derive their just powers from the consent of the governed and are established to what? Protect and maintain our individual rights, not to attack them. Now, I'm saying this as a legislature because it's always good for us to remember where we stand when it comes to interpreting the law. We don't need to be filtered through lawyers that have agendas. It's okay for us to read the law for ourselves. The law was instituted by us, for us. It's as much a right of ours as it is of any attorney general or any lawyer that wants to contrive some agenda-driven meaning for what it purports to tell us about our rights, especially our Second Amendment rights. Now, the second section, it's important to note this is the first section of our state constitution, and in the second section, it says that the supreme law of the land is our United States Constitution. And of course, every one of us knows what it says there. The rights of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Okay, it's really simple. I have 2 daughters. I have 3 sons, but I have 2 daughters that are high school age. I, as a legislator serving you, have received, and my family has received, multiple death threats for standing up for your rights. What right does the AG have, what right does an illegal initiative have to take away my daughter's rights to protect themselves from acknowledged threats? This is much about protecting our rights to own and to keep and bear arms as it is a right to keep and protect our family and for our young daughters and sons to protect themselves. Make no mistake, this is an illegal initiative. It is unconstitutional, and it gets to the very heart of our ability to protect our families and allow them to protect ourselves. And as a legislature, we must stand up against this. Now, I will tell you that the Attorney General knows this. The Attorney General has asked for sponsored legislation for many years now down in the legislature where he has sought to put up a title that says one thing, but buried in the details are a wholly other thing that would make nearly every one of us an illegal or violation of the law for simply carrying a self-defense weapon. Even the weapon I'm carrying right now is a .380 auto pistol. Under some of the laws or some of the initiatives and sponsored legislation that he has asked for would be illegal simply because I have a laser sight on it to be more accurate. There is an attack against our Second Amendment rights because they know that at the end of the day, this is the foundation upon which we preserve and protect our individual rights. Outside of the Second Amendment, when you have a debate about law and when you have the debate about government intruding upon our rights, the only person without the Second Amendment in that argument with the threat of force is the government. The Second Amendment equates us so that we have a right to push back and say, we don't agree. And you know what that is? That's part of the due process consideration of our law. We have a right for continued due process, which is why 1639 is and will be challenged, and why it's unconstitutional. And eventually you will see the Supreme Court rule on this, because it infringes upon our rights, and an agenda-driven AG that is not responsible and is seeking a political agenda does not have the right to usurp the law and take our rights from us. And now this is a legislature saying this. You're going to have the more acknowledged constitutional authority from Representative Shea coming up here in just a minute. He'll quote this far better than I will. But I will tell you that as a Western Washington State Representative, it is my honor to continue to stand up for all of your rights, including our right to keep and bear arms. It's paramount to my oath to office to protect and preserve your rights and those of my family as well. Thank you for coming.
Again, thank you for all coming out. And so, my name is Alan Costa. I helped organize this event with the 51st State Committee. Me being on the west side, it was just very close to the Capitol. So, I come here a lot and work a lot of issues and chase a lot of legislative bills that are important to me, that affect my life, affect my family's life. And the Second Amendment is very near and close. My background, I'm a naturalized immigrant from the Philippines, and I also serve this great country. I am a retired military officer in the Army. So what I've been seeing, especially with I-1639 and the current gun control legislation that we have here currently going on, is the pen and the sword. The law is a powerful tool, just like guns are a powerful tool. Both are the great equalizer in the right hands and at the right time. Both can be an instrument of justice. Both in the wrong hands, a malicious individual, a hostile group, subjugating a minority through policies and cultural discrimination, or a hatred of a belief that can have cascading, catastrophic effects. We have seen this in other societies and throughout time and around the world. Seen it firsthand during my deployments, where disrespecting the minority, where the majority casts its will by force through legislation and belief for greater good, and in that majority of society will benefit from such benevolent laws, has killed millions, men, women, and children. Some notes in history. 1915, Armenia. The current government, fearful, disarmed the minority. 1 million Armenians, Assyrians, and Greeks killed by the government. 1933, the Holocaust. On the onset of the regime taking power, adopted hundreds of laws restricting the minority to include gun control. 6 million Jews, 5 million Slavs, and millions of others that were the social minority, the final solution. 1975, Cambodia, when the politics changed and a new regime adopted radical policies of the re-education by university-educated ruling class. No professionals, ethnic or religious minorities was immune from the term enemy of the state. 2 million died under that regime in the killing fields with no ability to resist or defend themselves. 1990, Rwanda. With the outbreak of civil war, the silent minority, the Tutsis, were blamed for the current ills of the government. The majority, the Hutus, proceeded to data collect and distribute information on the targeted minority. The specific list consisted of names, addresses, and license plates. Under the majority propaganda narrative of the defenseless minority, discrimination made it easier to dehumanize and conduct acts of violence in the 100-day Civil War. Estimated 500,000 women raped and 800,000 people were slaughtered. Looking at our own American history, from the benevolent government, open subjugation of the ethnic minority in our past, racist gun control laws on newly emancipated slaves, to the persecution of the silent majority of law-abiding gun owners throughout law and threat of force, interference through regulation and punishment, has set us upon a new era of social conflict. We are plagued with a culture of violence, not through gun ownership, but through an initiation of force through government interference and narration of the majority rule. The dehumanization of gun owners, world culture, and minority social beliefs, and the right of individuals to live as they see fit in pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness, without interference to another or even the social norms of the majority, has brought us here today to voice our concern. A dear brother of mine told me, if anyone asks if you we can trust the government. Just ask the Native Americans. If we are to reverse our culture to peace and prosperity, we must learn to respect each other, no matter our differences. Most of all, respecting ownership of the individual, but also to what we own, to include ownership of our guns and our belief of inherent right to self-defense. Respect in, respect out. The law is a powerful tool, just like guns are a powerful tool. Both are the great equalizer in the right hands and at the right time. Both can be an instrument of justice. I leave with you a quote. Human progress is neither automatic nor inevitable. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Martin Luther King. No written law is above my inherent right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Again, thank you. Next, we have Representative Matt Shea from Legislative District 4.
Talk that loud.
Yeah.
Much better? All right. How's everybody doing?
Good.
I hope so. I love this flag, don't you? I've explained it. So I'm going to tell a story. In the late 1600s, early 1700s in Ireland, they passed the penal laws. And those penal laws said that the Irish couldn't use their language, they couldn't worship according to the dictates of their conscience, they couldn't own a horse that was worth over 5 pounds, and they couldn't bear arms. And my family eventually was driven out of Ireland because the culmination of those penal laws was the potato famine and the Irish diaspora. And I will not see that happen anywhere else in the world, most especially here in America. How about you?
Yeah.
Now, the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Washington are supposed to unite us, right? They're supposed to mean what they say in plain language, not be twisted by interpretation over years, but mean what they say as they were written. And the problem that we have today is that there are a group of people in the country that think the Constitution means what it says, and that we should follow that. And I agree, don't you?
Yeah.
So there's another group of people that think it should mean something else entirely, that it should go against history. And the whole reason a lot of the protections in the constitutions were written down. And you know what? I don't believe that because I think it's dangerous. I think history bears that out. And I want to talk to everybody here today that you can understand that if the Constitution unites us, then the people that are going away from the Constitution, those are the ones that are dividing us. Now, I've heard quite a bit from a lot of folks in this Capitol that we're one Washington, that we share the same values, traditions, cultures, and beliefs. I don't think innocent life should be killed in the womb, do you?
No.
So I don't share that value. I don't think that we should strip the right to bear arms from law-abiding citizens, do you?
No.
So I don't share that value. I don't think we should tax property owners and regulate them out of existence, do you?
No.
So I don't share that value. I don't think we should do an income tax or a carbon tax or a tax of the air and the water and everything else. Do you?
No.
So I don't share that value. I don't think also, on top of that, that we should do anything that forces somebody against their conscience to fund or choose between the schooling of their children, their livelihood, and their conscience. Do you?
No.
So I don't share that value, and neither do you. And all those values that I'm talking about, those are protected by the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Washington. So those that don't share those values are dividing us. And the problem is, I am not going to sit in a state that is going to try and take away our firearms, either by regulation, by cost, or by confiscation. Are you?
No.
So if they try to do that, then the only solution left is a 51st state.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, though, why do you want to do that? It would better represent downtown Seattle's values and our values in Eastern Washington if we split. They would stop calling us the welfare freeloaders, as one publication said. They would stop calling us names of the ignorant hicks. Have your socialist values in downtown Seattle. It's awesome. Go and do that experiment, but let us live free. Let us.
Yeah.
And we'll see which side works out better. We'll see which side works out better. And that's why the Founding Fathers left us the tool with Article 4, Section 3 of the United States Constitution to split a state. Because they understood this idea. It would better represent the values, traditions, cultures, and beliefs of the geographic area. And that's the way it's supposed to be. It's not some horrible thing. It actually was intentionally built into the system to allow justice and to allow people to feel like their voice was being heard. That's it. Doesn't that make sense?
Yep.
So how could that possibly be wrong? Now I want to address one comment that has been out there. This comment is, you guys in Eastern Washington would be the poorest state in the Union. You're a bunch of welfare freeloaders, and because of our beneficence in downtown Seattle, that is why you are allowed to survive. Here's my response to that. We are so sorry for being such a burden on you in downtown Seattle for so long. We don't want to be that burden anymore. Will you let us go now? Let us wallow in the poverty of our wheat fields and our orchards and our manufacturing and our low taxes and our less regulations and our more freedom. Please allow us to do that. All right, last comment before we leave. What do we do? First of all, you're here today. Go visit your legislators. Okay, go talk to them personally. Establish a relationship with them. They're human beings too. A lot of them are great folks. Talk to them about this, just in a reasonable tone, right? It's the way that things should be done, and there's a lot of folks out there that want to listen. So go talk to your legislators. I will tell you, though, that if there's the continued push for gun confiscation in Washington State, there is one option we do have left. One option we do have left. And it's a political science term called Irish democracy. And that means we will not comply with any sort of gun control that deprives us of an unalienable right that does not come to us from government, but that comes to us from God. Amen?
Amen.
So the Liberty State flag, the osprey, symbol of freedom endemic to the area, loyalty, truth, the background, the broken sword to recognize all those folks that have tried to do this before us, the State of Lincoln movement, the State of Columbia movement, nod to our agricultural heritage, resiliency, opportunity, rule of law, the 3 stars. We all believe that, don't we?
Yeah.
For those of us that have served our country, raise your hand right now. Look at how many veterans we've got here. For those of us that have served, thank you very much for your service.
Thank you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, precious to us. It is something that crosses all demographics, as you can see by the crowd here, something that crosses all cultural lines. And as my wife said, when she came to America and fled the former Soviet Union, I came here to live free, not to live in socialism. And I think we need to make my wife happy and make a 51st day reality, all right? God bless you all.
This is your time to engage with your legislators, set up appointments, or leave them some notes, some letters with your legislative assistant to notify them of your concerns. So again, thank you for coming out, braving the weather, braving the past, and God bless. Safe travels.